Hello, everyone. This is Sherry Stevens, the CEO of the Women's Executive Network, and I have with me today Laura Cooke. Laura is a Brene Brown Dare to Lead certified facilitator and has taken hundreds of leaders through the program, changing the way they show up at work and in their lives. Laura's background is learning and development as well as change management. It helps her create custom and dynamic learning experiences to help leaders and teams connect on a new level. Laura is also a WXN-vetted master coach and will lead a session in our 10-session Boldly Forward Leadership Learning Series. Laura's session is on September the 18th, and it's titled Bold Moves, Navigating Change with Confidence and Clarity.
Hi, it's so nice to be here with you today, Sherry. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on our virtual stage again. It's wonderful to see you again.
It's
Okay,
always nice working with WXN.
thank you. All right, let's take a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Okay,
All
let's do
right.
it.
So my first question is, one key takeaway from your session is understanding our unique change types.
hmm
Can you give us a sneak peek? What is a change type, and how does knowing ours help us navigate change?
Yes, absolutely. So our change type is essentially our go-to or default reaction that we have when we experience change. And understanding that this might be situational and it might be determined based on how much control we have over the change. This might also alter our change response. But according to Multi Health Systems, which is a leading organization in terms of assessments and science, the science behind assessments, we have three change types. So the first one is a conserver. So these ones are those of us who we prefer the known versus the unknown. We don't like stepping into uncertainty. The second one is a pragmatist. So these individuals are normally those who are able to look at the situation objectively and kind of see both the positives and the potential drawbacks of a change. And then we have the originators, or what I call early adopters, and they prefer a faster, more radical approach to change.
That's interesting. Okay, and how does how do these help us navigate the change? Like, how would that help us knowing
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so when we have a default, it's going to have both advantages and disadvantages. So if, for example, we look at the conserver, they're going to have those really important skeptical questions to consider when we're thinking about change and thinking about transition. However, the downside of that is they might be caught kind of in the status quo and unwilling to try new things or move forward. So every
Okay.
single one of these has a positive side and a potential drawback. So knowing what we are helps us see that a bit more clearly.
So one isn't necessarily better than the other to have.
No,
Just under
no,
I'm more understanding.
totally natural to be, yeah, to have any one of these three responses. But just knowing, of course, we always say awareness is the first
Mhm.
step
Right.
to improvement. So knowing where we default can help us kind of change or look at it a little bit more clearly.
That's interesting. I've never really heard about that or thought about it. I like that because then you're right. It does give you an awareness so that you know
Yeah.
how to deal with that change, right? And
Which do you think you are, Sherry?
the last one.
So jumping, like you're
Yeah.
you're willing to jump right into change. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what do you think the potential drawbacks of that might be?
Not looking at everything before you jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's interesting. I can't wait to be in your session to learn more about that. And then you have written a book. When did you write that book?
I wrote that in 2023 in May is when it was
Okay.
released. Yeah.
So leave it all on the dance floor. Is
Yeah.
that metaphorically or are you a dancer or is that just
I
something
grew
that
up with dance, and so
okay.
it was a good metaphor for me to use because one of the things when I was a child was I was told I didn't have strong enough ankles to be on point. And so as someone who took ballet and loved ballet, it was kind of a big disappointment to be told you can't do this. And so that's a good starting point for the premise of the book, which is don't let others tell us what we can do. And I ended up buying my own point shoes to shoot the cover of the book in them. So,
Oh, that's really,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So when you say point shoes, are those the like the little
Where you go up on your
clippers?
toes. Yeah,
You go
they
up on
have
your,
wood. Yeah, they have
yeah,
wood at the
okay.
end. Yeah.
Oh, I know I was never a ballerina. I probably
Yes.
would have broke something.
Well, many people do, yes.
So in your book, you explore the ways we find meaning and purpose through the context of dance. And I know you just
Hmm.
explained some of it, but can you share
Yeah.
your favorite dance metaphor for change?
Yeah, so I use a ton throughout, but I'll leave our listeners with two. So the first question I would ask is, are you the choreographer of your own life?
Hmm.
And if yes, are you happy with the dance you are doing? And if no, who is, and what might you like to change about that?
Love it. And we're going to leave it right there
Okay.
because I like that because it'll intrigue our audience to come to the session so they can learn more about that and if they are liking the dance that they're doing in their own lives. I like how you put it that way.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
great.
you.
Love it. Okay. So my last question, for someone
Hmm.
feeling stuck or unsure about chasing a dream, and it's interesting through this whole series and me speaking with all the our coaches and our facilitators, the continuous theme is dream
Mm.
throughout the whole, it's weaved through every single session, which I love,
Yeah.
right? Because I
Yeah.
think especially right now, I think we need to, as women, we need to dream big, big, like really
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
and just kind of go for it. So I like that this is another part of it here.
Hmm.
So I'm going to back up. For someone feeling stuck or unsure about chasing a dream in uncertain times, what's one piece of advice that you'd want them to hear?
Yeah. Reflecting on this question, I think that when we think about chasing our dreams or following our dreams, it feels big and lofty. And it also feels like an either or. I either have to like burn my entire life down and step into this unknown void, or I do nothing and stay exactly the same. But that's not true. And so when we have a dream, but we're stuck, it's likely a fear or a limiting belief that's holding us back. And so what I always like to do with people I work with is challenge them and say, look that in the eye. So when we say, if for example, we'll continue with the dance, if I wanted to open up a dance studio, but I think, oh, I'm too old, or I don't have the money to open a dance studio, or where would I find the space? Um, let's look that in the eye. Well, am I really too old? Or do I have a few moves that maybe I could teach women my age on? And if I'm looking for space, maybe I could rent some community space in the meantime until I can afford my own brick or mortar. So when we look at it in the eye and we get down to the facts and the data, we can boil it down and realize that the fear isn't real and that we can put things in place to minimize our risk. So the two questions I often ask is, what do you have and what can you do? So it's not a leap off the cliff. It's what measures do I need to take or what support do I need to secure in order to have a net to make a big, bold move in chasing my dreams.
I love that. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for
Yeah.
your great advice and looking forward to your session.
Yes, likewise. I can't wait. It's going to be a great series, and I'm so excited to learn from the other coaches that you've pulled together. It's an amazing group.
It is, yeah, I'm very blessed to have all these amazing women to be part of our leadership learning series. So thank you again, Laura, for your time. I really appreciate it. So
Thank you.
everybody out there, get ready to elevate your leadership game with the WXM Boldly Forward Leadership Learning Series starting on March the 6th and running through December. This series is designed to ignite your potential, push your boundaries, and drive you towards success. For more details, please see wxnetwork.com or see the link below. Have a fabulous day, Laura. And
You as
looking
well.
forward to your session in September. And everybody, let's all take a bold step forward into our future together.
Amazing.